Welcome to this episode of Tiger Attack, and I got my money backs today because LSU's offense is just money, money, money.
Money sounds everywhere when you see that LSU offense.
Yeah. Okay. 45 seconds or less. Your overall thoughts about this game, and go.
LSU offense spectacular once again. Defense still a lot to be still a lot to work on. But LSU continues to thrive offensively. Joe Burrow continues to make his own case, and LSU moved up in the polls.
Jump to number 2, jumping Ohio State and Clemson.
Oh, kind of surprising with Clemson, but I mean LSU making their case known every week.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk a little bit about the record-setting offense, which they are definitely on a pace to become the best offense in LSU history. Let's start now. Okay, Joe Burrow was held under 300 yards passing for just the second time this season. The first time was the season opener against Georgia Southern. Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran pretty wild against the Gators. Going over 100 for the second time this season. And for the second time this season, we also had at least 2 LSU receivers go over 100 yards. This time is Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Chase doing it, I want to say, for the 4th time this year.
What really impressed me about this LSU offense was the way they were able to run the ball against such a stout defense like Florida. I mean, Florida also came in with an amazing secondary, and Joe Burrow was able to have his way with them. So the way LSU was able to impose their will against such a very talented defense, against a top 10 team, this is LSU's second top 10 win of the season. For LSU to beat Florida the way they did, that's why LSU moved up to the polls the way they did.
And this offense was able to hang 42 points, which ties their season low, against a defense that was allowing teams to score 9.8 points per game.
That's dominance.
So, very impressive performance against a very stout, what had been perceived as a very stout Florida defense. And this was the best defense that Florida has faced, LSU has faced all year, but on the flip side, this was by leaps and bounds the best offense that the Florida defense has yet to face.
I mean, I can only imagine how much this LSU offense pretty much shattered the Florida defense's morale. But Florida needs to have short memory because we still got a lot of football left to be played.
And when you think about it, this game should have been even more because LSU left at least 10 points, and even you can argue 14 points off the board as the opening drive stalled, which initially they were moving the ball well, and then they missed a field goal, and then they failed to score when they got the ball. Was excellent field position at almost at their own 48 and failed to score there.
And so we saw a little bit of a little setback as far as consistency offensively. But I mean, you're going against a very tough Florida team. But still, for LSU to move the ball up and down the field the way they did, and as quick as they did on some of their scoring drives, it just goes to show how dangerous this LSU team is this season.
Well, that's our time to speak on the offense. Instead of moving to the defense, I want to continue to do our Burrow breakdown every week. As we can see, Burrow has officially gone over 2,000 yards passing. He has a ridiculous completion of 79.6 completion percentage per game. Even though he only passed for 3 touchdowns, and I say that okay, just 3 touchdowns. He actually increased his pace from 48 to 50 touchdowns, and as you can see, the current record is 28.
We're only halfway through the season, people. That's a scary thought. We're only halfway into the season, and Joe Burrow's on pace to break records already.
Yeah, he's on pace to break Jamarcus Russell and Tommy Hodson both share the single season touchdown record of 28, and he's on pace to surpass Rohan Davey for most yards in a single season. He could also potentially break Rohan Davey's single game record as well.
And I got to tip my hat to the coaching staff, to Steve Ensminger, Coach Orgeron, and to Joe Brady And I mean, I was delivering one day and I was talking to Justin Jefferson and I said, getting Joe Brady in the offseason was the best thing y'all did. I mean, having him, and it's really, and you can see it out there in the field how much it has increased Burrow's confidence in this offense.
Yeah. All right. Just to finish up this train of thought. Burrow is also still on pace to become LSU's very first 4,000-yard passer.
Oh, it's going to happen probably within the next 3 to 4 games. I mean, if he can put up some decent numbers against Alabama.
Yeah, 670 for Jefferson, 578 for Chase. Marshall, who was limited during this game, still has 304. And then Thaddeus Moss with 153.
And I think with Thaddeus Moss, we're starting to kind of see him emerge. And for those who may not know, Thaddeus Moss is the son of former All-Pro receiver Randy Moss. And we're kind of starting to see Thaddeus Moss really start to come along in his offense. And I hope to see more production out of him in the weeks to come.
So it's kind of a foot race right now, if you ask me. Who do you think will be most likely to surpass Beckham in his single season record?
I have to say Justin Jefferson. Just as much trust that Joe Burrow has put in him, and the way he plays and the way that he, as far as his route running, he's also one of the most sure-handed receivers in the nation. I'll have to say Justin. I gotta say Justin Jefferson.
Although personally, I like Jamar Chase because Chase has just been phenomenal.
Oh, he has.
Don't get me wrong, Jefferson's been pretty good, and he's currently leading the team in receiving yards. But I think Chase is right there behind him.
I mean, Jamar Chase, I go back to the Vanderbilt game. Jamar Chase was an animal. He was a man possessed out there, catching, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, 4 of Burrow's 6.
And Burrow broke the single game record, or tied it in that game. He broke it in that game, actually.
Yeah, he did. He broke it. All right, so the defense continues to be a little bit of a concern, especially they give up 311 yards passing and 146 on the ground plus 4 TDs. However, they did make some big plays when they absolutely needed to. Obviously, the sack by K'Lavon Chaisson and Marcel Brooks really helped as far as forcing Florida to punt late in the game. And then Stingley's interception saved the touchdown pass.
And Derek Stingley actually leads the team in interceptions. As far as the rushing defense, yes, they gave up 146 yards to the Florida offense, but Florida carried the ball 40 times as a team. But so LSU gave up less than 4 yards a carry, which I kind of say is not too bad. But like you said, there's still some things that the Florida defense that LSU defense still needs to improve on. And it's going to come with a little time. They do have some youth on that defense. But, knowing how the LSU defense has been in the past, we have to hold them to a high standard.
And, they have one of the things that they continue to struggle with is getting off of 3rd down.
That's something that I did see against Florida. And this was Kyle Trask's first start at quarterback. And I really thought that this LSU defense was going to, Kyle Trask, his first start in Death Valley. Okay. His first road start, actually. Mm-hmm. And so I was hoping to see this LSU defense really rattle him, especially being at Death Valley, being in such a huge environment, being at the cathedral of college football, a place that's so hostile and so loud. I was looking for this LSU defense to really rattle him and make him uncomfortable the whole game. But I really saw Trask get really comfortable in that Florida offense. And the defense really having a hard time, 1, getting pressure on them, and 2, like you said, getting off the field on 3rd down.
Yeah. Hopefully this defense can improve. You're in the middle of arguably their toughest stretch. They got Mississippi State, Auburn, and then Alabama.
And a lot of people are saying Mississippi State could probably be a trap gimmick for LSU. They're going to start Vegas, and then you're going to get some Mississippi State team that shows up when they want to. Well, they probably might just show up this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. So since we're already on this topic, and that's our time for talking the defense, let's move on to their upcoming games.
I mean, these are going to be the three biggest weeks for LSU. LSU is going to definitely be tested over the next three games, especially against State. Yes, Mississippi State, they struggled. I mean, losing Tennessee was a huge uh, confidence breaker for them. But I mean, they got to have short memory. You got the number 2 team in the nation coming to start Vegas. Auburn, tough defensive team. Bo Nix has really settled into that offense as a true freshman, and of course, Alabama being Alabama. So these next 3 weeks are going to determine where LSU is going to go in the postseason.
To me, the big question is going to Tuscaloosa because, I mean, if you can score like that on Florida's defense, then you should be able to move the ball against Auburn.
That's also true. I mean,
they are coming to Tiger Stadium as well.
They are, and so this is going to be Bo Nix's first time playing against the Tigers in Death Valley. So, one thing about it, I mean, the front seven has to get pressure on Bo Nix. They have to if they want to beat Auburn, if they want to stop this Auburn defense, the Auburn offense. I'm sorry, but I don't see LSU really having a problem against Mississippi State, and I shouldn't see them having a problem against Auburn.
Okay, so after the Alabama, I know we haven't reached that yet, but if they can get through these next 4 games, next 3, they should beat Mississippi State. I do not see Auburn coming into Tiger Stadium and walking away with a win. If they can beat Alabama, they should win out because after that you got Arkansas,
Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
Which that game, Texas A&M is not as good as they were last year, and they're coming to Tiger Stadium. So,
and of course, they're going to Oxford. But Ole Miss, there's a lot of holes in that team, and then Arkansas, as bad as they've been, they're coming to Tiger Stadium as well. So, I mean, after the Alabama game, LSU should win out. I should see if LSU can beat Alabama, we should see them in Atlanta this season.
Yeah, at the very, very, very worst, these Tigers should go 11-1, and at 11-1, depending on how other teams do over the course of the rest of the season, could still get you into the 14 playoff.
Well, that depends. I mean, we gotta take a look at teams like Wisconsin or teams like Ohio State or Oklahoma, and these 3 teams have been balling as of late, especially Wisconsin. And they're dominating on all cylinders. And, I mean, Wisconsin, that's my dark horse right there for the 4 team. So, I mean, if LSU wants any chance, if they want to eliminate any doubt of why they should be in the 14 playoff, well, if you want to be on the big stage under the lights, you got to beat the best. You got to beat Alabama.
Okay, so let's talk the SEC overall just a little bit to wrap up our show here. Obviously, Georgia losing a double overtime to South Carolina.
And, I mean, with the win for South Carolina, I was telling you earlier, I mean, the way that the SEC East is going, South Carolina might have a legitimate shot in the East. I mean, mathematically, they still have a shot to represent the East, mathematically.
They would have to have Florida. They would have to beat Florida and then have to have Florida and Georgia lose another game each.
I mean, college football, anything can happen. A team that I've had a lot of hope for was Missouri, but Missouri got into some trouble in the offseason, which preventing them from postseason play this season.
Didn't they get that overturned though?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up.
I think they got that overturned.
If they got that overturned, then Missouri is in the driver's seat. That's one team a lot of people are not talking about. I mean, Missouri is undefeated in the conference right now, and then I want to say they're 5-1. I want to say overall.
Mm-hmm. 5-1.
And they're 2-0 in the conference. And Missouri's playing some really good football, especially with having Kelly Bryant, Clemson transfer at quarterback. So Missouri's definitely a team to look out for in the East.
Yeah, and then finally, Vanderbilt losing to UNLV.
34-10.
Blown out by
a Mountain West team. UNLV. Really, Coach Mason, you let UNLV come into your house and beat y'all 34-10.
So really? I know it's Vanderbilt, but do you think this is
Vandy wasted this when they hired you.
I know it's Vanderbilt, but you think this is enough to get Coach Mason fired? I mean, the expectations outside of
Look, I know.
James Franklin.
Look, I understand. Expectations are low. It's Vandy in football. Expectations are low, but not to where you get blown out at home by UNLV.
No.
Come on, man.
And what are they? These like the Bandits,
The UNLV Rebels.
the Rebels. So
UNLV.
they rebelled against the Commodores.
No, they rebelled and succeeded against the Commodores.
Okay.
A successful rebellion. That's what it's called. Successful rebellion.
So that pretty much wraps up this show. Hope to see you next week when we follow up the Mississippi State game and hopefully watch the Tigers continue to make history. Find us on Facebook or check out our website at aisportsnetwork.com. Hopefully to see you next week.